we can both give examples of people that I guess push and inspire us to do better. But is there someone that I guess indirectly that you aspire to be like? I don't know, maybe like someone at church or someone at work who you just like, that's you know, what I come from the words, like they're exactly what I want to be or what I want to be better at than where I am now, and you kind of strive to achieve what someone's done.
Mm. 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 See, it's tough because I remember when I was growing up, my mum always told me the saying of like, be wary of people, of looking up to people in general, because of course these are people. So, of course, see that person, but always make sure that what you do is that you assess them critically, not in the sense of like hating, but in the terms of I want to take the good stuff out of your behaviors, and then I'll leave the bad stuff so I can still keep my core values. I can remember when I was like a lot younger, I always used to have these things like there were different people that I would look up to. Then when I get to the stage, I was like, okay, now I'm in your position. I kind of understand that you're just like me. So I don't really have as many people that I'd say, yeah, I'm really, really trying to be like that person. But I do have people who, let's say, I can really appreciate their character and their work. And there are some elements of their behavior which I'll be like, okay, let me start considering how I could bring out that trait in myself, but not in the terms of like imitating, but more so seeing them show that makes me want to work on that in my own way. Do you get what?
Yeah. That makes sense. Because I guess I kind of asked that, kind of like meandering around to a different topic, where it's like I've noticed, and obviously you talked about in the past as well, how you don't really use socials anymore. You kind of like tuned up social media, and I kind of at the time I didn't get it because I fall into the camp where it's like, nah, Instagram is everything. You got to see what people are doing. People got to know where you are. Growing a business, blah blah blah. But as soon as I heard used, I've been deactivated it or deleted your account. I'm like, raw. Like, it is possible for someone to actually detach themselves, not from society. That's a crazy thing to say, but it's like to not be so, I guess, caught up in like what's going on socials in particular. Like, how come that was so easy for you? Or like, was it ever a point where it's like, nah, it's not really worth it. I'd rather just go back and and join the crowd.
I'd say my reason for social media was mainly just about like cutting out all the noise. I felt like a lot of the stuff on social media was affecting me more than it should be. And this is even stuff that was particularly like controversial or polarized. It may just be like someone making an annoying tweet. And I started to think that, maybe I'm making myself too available to this kind of stuff. And it's not even a case where it's like these are people that are tweeting this stuff that are bad people. Some of them are people I'm genuinely cool with. But it was a case of me just starting to think I'm letting people's social media or online personality skew how I perceive them. And in that case, I'd rather just be ignorant. I'd rather just be ignorant to their social media personalities. So a key thing for me was just removing myself from that. And in a way, I felt like I was becoming too caught up in my own self-importance in a way. Thinking that, if I miss social media, then I don't know, like, what about if my friends want to send me memes and stuff like that? And it's like, bro, they will still use social media regardless. Like, I was just having such like stupid, not even stupid, but I was just being so self-absorbed with it. So I was like, okay, let me just go away from it. So it wasn't even on the tip of like productivity or, when people say, how can you be on social media? You're missing out on the world. It wasn't a tip like that. It was just a case of me just wanting to step away because I was just being too affected by it, to be fair. And I'd say that was the key behind me maintaining my distance away from it. Like, I knew that as I stepped away from it and just started finding other things to do, I started feeling better. It was even like in terms of the way I communicate with my friends, I'm a lot more of an active communicator. Before on social media, before when I was on Instagram and all these other apps, it'd be a case where, hey, yeah, what do you mean I haven't seen you in like 3 months, but I saw your story like yesterday. I've seen you. But like now it's like, I have to like now it will be a case where I'll call my friends or like they'll come over and we'll have a long conversation. all chat on WhatsApp, as opposed to it just being a case of like, here's a meme, there's a meme, here's a meme, there's a meme. So yeah, like it was just key in terms of me just stepping away from like the white noise. And in a way, it was like me doing that, I was able to find like different things that I could do to fill the time.
I hear that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, to be fair. Like, I like your point on, I guess, communicating effectively. That's definitely a perspective I've never considered before, because I completely hear what you're saying. Like, even this whole lockdown that we're experiencing now, it's like, I literally haven't seen anyone in, 4, 5, 6 months, but I feel like I have, purely because of socials. It's like, I know, X is on holiday here, Y is going for a jog there, but fundamentally, I haven't actually seen anyone. And I hear what you mean, because I know for a fact, if I were to see someone tomorrow, it'll be like, oh, how was your holiday? Which might only be the last 3 or 4 days, but you'll never, talk about the fundamentals of what's actually going on beneath that. So yeah, I completely hear that, to be fair. I've never really considered that perspective. I guess where the nature of that question came from is like, me, myself, a lot of my friends, all of my older friends I see, they're not not necessarily things I don't agree with, but maybe they're not taking uni seriously, not taking their job seriously, spending a lot of money they don't need to. And I tried to not cleanse it. Cleanse is not a very good word, but for lack of a better word, I have to cleanse my social media, where I'm like, I'm going to unfollow people that, I don't want to see as much, or I'm going to try and get the algorithm to stop sending me, girls and football pages, and try and actually be the better person that I am. And I kind of build up a timeline of things that I aspire to be, like, of inspirations. So that's kind of where my perspective on that came from. But no, I definitely hear what you're saying. It's interesting to see that, you communicate more effectively. Like, I've always seen you as someone that, you, Moses, and I think Ayo, are guys that I think you've always spoken really, really well. And I've always been like, how can I be more articulate? How can I put the word superfluous into a sentence without being judged? Like, but now I guess, like, how have you, because it's the way you talked about it, it sounds like it's been really, really effective. Like, it seems like you've come a long way since getting off social media, but I want to, I guess, deep dive into that and say, how have you measured that success, and how have you got to a point now where it's actually, you can objectively say that it's better off here than you were before?
Just in terms of the way I feel about myself, being on social media, I feel like, see if I'm still on LinkedIn, but being on social media, it does feel like there's just constant feeling of like a pressure to, what's the word I'm looking for, to fit in. I do feel like when it was a case where I wasn't spending a lot of my hours just observing people and seeing what they were doing, it was like I was focusing more like the person I am and what matters to me and these other things. Also, I feel like my timeline was very much repeating the similar type of views, similar type of discussions, similar type of topics. And being away from social media, I started looking at like consuming a wider range of content. So it was like, the time I would spend, let's say, reading like this discussion or these type of tweets. Now is the case where now I might pick up like this type of book, or I might watch this type of show, or watch all these other stuff. And also I feel like, like me being away from social media has also meant I enjoy shows a lot more. I can't even lie. I watched Insecure a lot later. I watched Insecure I said that 2 months ago, the latest season. And it was a case where I just took it at a time which was more convenient for me, rather than me having to like dodge all these spoilers and everything. But sorry, I think I went off on a tangent. In terms of me knowing that I'm in a better position, I'd say the main thing has just been the pursuit of my hobbies. I'd say less time on social media has made me feel a lot less pressure in terms of trying to do what I'm seeing, and now focusing on what really matters to me. So recently I took up I took up writing. And I don't know, I don't think I would have taken up writing if I didn't have that time to really reflect and think about and really reflect on my thoughts and start trying to work on like processing a lot of emotions. Whereas when I have that extra time to just really be with myself, I'm starting to be able to work on like putting those thoughts in the paper. And you know, it starts off with me like talking about my thoughts, to writing essays about my thoughts, to start to form a story about an experience I had. And I'll genuinely say that like me having this time has really made me feel like, raw, like I actually like enjoy writing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Before it was like I was doing acting, and you know, acting was really good. But I realized that acting was just like a form of expression for me. The things that really mattered to me was the whole process of like storytelling. And what's when you think about storytelling, the first thing that comes to mind is like writing stories, you know. And even in terms of like just having more time to read, like reading has been so key in terms of me getting out of lockdown. It's not even me reading like all these like super like these classics or books that make you sound really smart. I'm just talking about like reading like any like random short story. But the main thing is that the stories I'm reading are from a different experience to myself. Especially in lockdown, it's been like I've had to find something to act as a getaway. That's helped so much. This is in terms of one, processing my emotions, and two, just getting out of my head.